Hello everyone, welcome back to CollegeCronista session on Linux commands. And in this session, we will discuss about the commands related to files. The previous session was about directories and permissions. So files commands, yeah, there are a lot of useful commands, and you will really be astonished to see the depth of commands related to files that we have in Linux. So let's get started. Touch. If you want to create an empty file in a directory, you can use touch command. Okay, so touch and then you give the path of the file where it's supposed to be created, you'll just get an empty file. Okay, this command is mostly used during deployments. When you deploy your website or program to the Linux systems and your application requires at least an empty file to be present. Okay, we mostly restrict applications creating files, because if they start creating too many files, we may run out of disk storage problem. Okay, so that's why this is very important, so that in touch you create an empty file and keep it there so that your application will use it. So this is one of the very useful commands and almost least ignored. Okay, again, don't give permission for your apps to create a lot of files on the fly when you run. It's not good practice, because if somebody finds out some vulnerability in your application and make sure you are logging everything to a new file, they might use this as a loophole to create multiple files and make sure your server runs out of disk space, and then it eventually crashes. Okay, so this is one thing. So use touch command. Okay, and then the next, move command. Okay, so the move command is used to create move files from one directory to another directory. So when you move, it means the file is deleted from the source directory or source location, and then it is recreated in the destination folder. Okay, so and the other indirect use of move command is Linux does not have a rename command. So if you want to rename a file, you have to use a move command, but again you copy the file from the same directory to the same directory, copy the file to the same directory with a different name. That's when it renames the file. Okay, remember, there is no rename command in Linux. Okay, this is an important tricky interview question that people get. Okay, so that's good. So let's move on to the next. cp is a copy command. The copy command is used to copy files from one directory to another or within the same folder. Again, copy retains the file in both the source folder and the destination folder. Okay, so the logic, if you want to copy something recursively, that is subfolders files in a directory, use -r switch. So what it does is cp-r test1 test2 means it will copy the files recursively from test1 to test2. So whatever subdirectories are within test1 will also get copied to test2 and files and other things. So this is also very important when you do deployment. Okay, most of your deployment scripts makes use of cp command, make dir command, and touch command. Okay, cat, this is one of the my favorite commands. Cat is just used to display what are the contents of a file. That's it on the terminal. Okay, so if you type cat and a file name, it will show what's inside the file, and you don't even need to open a editor like gedit or something to see it. Okay, and then again, if you want to see it with the line number, use the switch -n. Okay, and then if there are a lot of blank lines in your file and you want to just show one blank line, okay, saying that there is a blank line, and then the rest of the series, okay, is also a blank line. Okay, you can always use -s switch. So I recommend you try out this command with -s and n switch, so that way you will know how many blank lines are also there. Okay, next, less is actually not a command, it's actually a option to be used with other commands, but it is similar to cat. It displays the content of the file with a scrolling option so that you can use your arrow key to scroll up and down. The cat command, it just displays everything and goes to the bottom. So it means you cannot really see what was the top content of the file sometimes if the file is a very big file. Okay, so I prefer to use cat along with less or just less. Okay, I will show that in the demo in the lab session. Shred, this is a very important command. Okay, if you want to securely delete any file from your system, you have to use shred. Okay, once you use shred and then the file name, what it does is it actually puts in some junk content into the file, and even on the disk location it is stored, so that way they can't even recover from hard disk. And then you delete the file, you securely delete the file. Okay, so even if they try to recover the deleted file, they will always get some junk content. So always when you do some delete and other things, make sure you use shred command. Okay, this may be useful for your application files that store some confidential information like the database connection string or the user account's password or FTP user account password. Okay, so all these, just delete the file using shred command. Okay, first use shred so that it gets shredded and then you delete it. Okay, locate. So okay, this command is used to search and find files and directories in the system. Okay, the key thing to note is this search is actually not performed on the actual file system. Okay, it doesn't go and scan each folder to see if a file by the name or a directory by the name is there. Okay, what it does is the operating system maintains something called index, which is like a mapping, saying like, hey, this folder has this file, this folder has this file. It's a list, just a list. So this command just searches the list. So if there are any files that get created very recently when you are trying to run the search, it will not show up on the result. Okay, so you have to do it. Okay, so again, this index that I was talking about gets built, I think, every night at 2 a.m. or something by the operating system. The system is on. Okay, and if you don't run it, sometimes it may be outdated too much. So to update that, you just need to use update db command so that it will rebuild the files list, so that way when you search it, it will be good. Again, the main reason why we use this command before we go for other commands is if you search the index, it means it's not going to slow down your system. Okay, but if you start searching the actual files and directories, it will slow down your system. Okay, and again in Linux, especially when it comes to server side, people are very keen about the resource usage. If processor usage spikes up to 30%, 40%, that means get an alert, and then they just want to see what's going on. Okay, so without spiking up the CPU too much, okay, they want to do it. Again, search is a very intensive operation for an operating system to perform. So that's why try to use locate and then keep your index updated every day. Okay, if 2 a.m. is not the time that your system will be on, go ahead and reschedule that or create a scheduled job that you can call every time during your lunch hours or that you go out and other things. Okay, so try it. Find is another command that is used to search and find files or directories in the system. Okay, so this again searches against real-time file system. Okay, so this real-time file system is something that will return even the latest results. Okay, so this has more options than locate, so it's a very extensive command that you can use, but again this will spike the CPU usage. Okay, so I will show you, okay, in a demo how this affects. grep, this is one of my favorite command. It is used to search for a text within a files or even in the command output. Okay, so if you want to search for a term in a file, just say grep and then -r and -srim. Okay, it will get you the text from a command output or file or something. Okay, again, this is not a direct command that you can work on. Okay, you need an input to this command. Okay, so that's why you can combine this with any other command to search. Grep doesn't search any files or something. It's just searches an output of a command or something. Okay, so ls-lr, okay, and then you combine that with the grep srim, it will give you whether that particular command's output had the word srim in it. Okay, next, ln, this is a link command. Okay, as I already mentioned in one of the previous videos, that when you write a new version of a program and the people are still calling your old version of the program, okay, so you need to redirect them to automatically execute the newer version of the program. Okay, that's when you use links. Okay, there are two types of links. One is hard link, the other is soft link. A hard link means it is two or more file names pointing to the same content on the disk. Soft link means it's a pointer to redirect the request for a file to another file. Okay, if somebody is trying to call command v1.cmd, but you want them to use command v2.cmd, you can do it. Okay, the output of the ls-l command shows if the file has any links. Okay, and then again, as I mentioned, soft links are used to provide redirect from older version to the newer version. Okay, so this is a very interesting command that is used a lot even by Linux. Okay, core Linux commands are also having a lot of links, so I'll show that in a demo to you. Sort, it's a very useful command. If you give a file name, it will sort all the contents in the file and display it. Again, it does not update the file with sorted contents. It just displays the sorted command. So the command is very simple: sort and the file name, and it sorts the content. To sort the file in descending order, you have to use the -r flag. And again, if you want to treat the numbers in the file as numbers, you have to use -n. For example, if your first column is a numeric column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, if you don't use -n and if you try to sort it, the result will be 1, 11, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's how it will be. Okay, so you have to be careful if you feel that. And then if you feel your file is tab delimited or having fixed length columns, okay, you can use -k so that you can even sort by column number. Okay, so you have to use -k. This is a very useful command. Okay, again, like this is like in most of the projects that I worked on that are maintenance or migration projects where we migrate data from one system to other system. This command has helped us a lot. Okay, to sort by column and do some manipulations before we even import it to it. Okay, so most of the times when we export and import data from one data source to other, like database, maybe MySQL to SQL Server or SQL Server to MySQL, Oracle or other things, we actually export them to file. So that way it's a universal format that any database can import from. Okay, so this is a very useful command. Tail, again, it is used to show the last 10 lines of a file. Okay, so you just have like a million records in a file and you just want to see the last 10 that was added like a few seconds ago. Okay, just give tail and the file name. Okay, use -f option to see the content of the file getting refreshed if the file is being returned continuously. For example, if there is a process that is writing the files to the log, they mostly write to the bottom of the file, that is append to the file, okay, like every few seconds. Whatever they do, they just log it. Okay, so if you want to keep track of it, you just use tail. And I have seen a lot of system server admins who use tail commands for some key files and have them as in a separate monitor, so that they have a look at it to see what's going on there. Okay, so this is a very useful command. Diff is going to give the difference between two files. Okay, what they are, what lines differ, what are the differences, and other things. Okay, this is very useful to compare even code revisions. So if you have two PHP files, one you worked on yesterday and one you worked on today, and you want to just compare it, you can use diff command to compare. Okay. Com is the opposite of diff. It is used to give the list of common lines between the files. Okay, so sometimes when you want to merge some files, okay, you just want to get the common set of records. You don't want everything, just common. So just give common, it will get you those. Okay, that's it. So next session we will start with command operators. So see you all in the next session.